Okay. So we went to, what is it? www.elisesedeby.com/retreat-workbook. And it's right here. This website right here to get the workbook. So I downloaded it. You can print it at the local shop. I think it's like 50 pages, 60 pages. So I would do it in black and white, and I would recommend doing it 1 page per page instead of front and back, because the pages get kind of confused and mixed around if you do it the other way. And then you have plenty of room to make notes. Okay, so the first step is to sign up for the daily mentor calls, and then it's separated into 6 parts. The first one is about effectively sampling people. And the first step of that is to create your names list. And she gives you tons of great tips for how to do that. She gives you a website that is a memory jogger that helps you come up with ideas for different people that you know. It's all kind of linked in here. And I want to show you a names list, which is the first real assignment. I'm sorry. Drive. I'll show you the names list, and I linked it in the team app, so actually I should probably go there, but the same document. Let's see. Actually, yeah, that would be wise because that's where you guys are going to be pulling it up. Team app. And it looks different on a computer, obviously, but you go to the team here, and then on the computer, it's at the top right here. It says resources, but on the app, it's a button. Like there'll be buttons that say updates, events, resources, each of these things. Yeah, this is the names list, and there's instructions for how to make your own copy. So what's cool about this is the memory jogger. If you just want to click that, it takes you to it. Eventually it opens. So it has places for you to just kind of jot down names, and then all of these other suggestions for things that, people that you might just not be thinking about when you're trying to think of all the people you know. This is a great little tool that'll just help you think of anybody and everybody in your whole life. So you can put them on your list. And then
ask a question?
Sure.
With this form, did you do it actually on the form? Did you type it, or can you do that? Or did you print it out and then handwrite it? Or do you have any recommendations on how to use it?
Yeah, you can do either. I recommend typing it just because it's easier to keep up with, and you can access it. Like if you're using this spreadsheet on the Google Sheets, like it is, like I have it through, this is a Google document. You can open it on your cell phone. So like if you're out somewhere and you meet somebody and they want to know more about oils, you can whip out your phone and put them on your list right then. Whereas that's obviously a little bit more of a challenge if you are pen and paper. So.
Okay, but if we're out and, if we're home, I just go to the team app and it'll pop up just like how you did it, and I can use it right there, or do I have to save it onto my computer?
So first thing you're going to want to do is make your own copy, because this copy, you can't type on it. Like I can type on it because it's mine, but nobody else can type on it because I want it to stay as the template, right? So what you would do, if you don't have to memorize this, it's right here at the bottom. You see as instructions for making your own copy.
Okay, great.
And then it just says to use this sheet, click file in the menu and then make a copy. So it's real simple. You click file and then make a copy, and it'll ask you what you want to name it. So I would recommend putting your own name, instead of 100's names list, you could put Patrice 100 names list.
Okay.
And then you have your own copy, and yeah, you would just come back to the sheet 1 and then start typing them in. So it has enough they're numbered for 100 people, but you can always add more names by just clicking on the last one, like that. And then, where is it? let's see, can't remember how to do it.
With the
Usually there's a
cells.
little crosshair that pops up.
Yeah.
So never mind. I think the right
Okay.
way to do it is like this. You just select the cells that you want. Yeah, there it is. So you see that little arrow
Yeah.
at the bottom?
Yeah.
If you grab that and just pull it down, it'll
Yeah.
auto-populate more. Like it just continues counting, right?
Uh-huh.
Pretty cool. Or
Thank
if you just want to keep it small, if you get over 100, take some people off and keep it to 100. That way you can manage it a little more easily because, you know, just depends on if you have people, like if you have somebody who's absolutely not interested, take them off your list. But if you have somebody who's just not ready right now, then you don't want to take them off unless there's, you know, your own personal reason why you just don't want to keep, if you don't want to be in business with them, or if you don't want to continue interacting with them because they're frustrating or difficult, take them off your list. You don't have to serve everybody, just serve the people who are right for you, right? Okay, so yeah, let me explain how, and she explains all of this, but I will summarize it for you. You see here, there are different categories of types of people here. So we have woman, aged 35 to 45, into natural things, need for money, supportive spouse, influential, and they've done business before. So what these are is what Elise has identified in her organization to be the top qualities of a diamond. So she assessed all of the diamonds in her organization, which is a ton of them. There's hundreds. And what did they have in common? And these are the 7 qualities that were the most prominent. And the cool thing about this is general. It's kind of generic. So if you know that you are not likely to work well with someone who has some of these qualities, like for example, the easiest one to just kind of single out is the age range. I'm not working with people age 35 to 45. You can see here that I don't know that any of us are in that narrow range. So for me, it makes sense for me to look at who are the people that I work well with. For me, it's obviously women that are not my age, older than me. And it might have to do with maturity, experience, who knows, but that's what resonates for me. And it's obvious in the fact that it's been who I socialize with and work with in doTERRA. So for me, I would change that. I might keep the younger part, 35, but expand it up to like 60 because, you know, why not? That's what works for me. But these are just kind of qualities that you're looking for, basically. And so once you have your names list, you're going to go through and say, is Jane Doe a woman? Yes, put a 1. Is she in the age of 35 to 45? Let's say yes, or whatever I change it to be. Is she into natural things? Probably so, because she's my friend. Does she have a need for money? Most people do, but some people don't. So if she does, you put the number there. Does she have a supportive spouse? Or I like to expand that to a supportive network, because that can be, you know, if you are close with your parents or your children and they are going to be an inclusive part of your business in the form of, you know, they might be helping you make samples. They might be cheering you on, saying, you got this, go girl, or whatever. Make it suit the, you know, the people that you're looking for. Influential, you know, whether or not you're working with people who have influence in their circle. So you would put a 1 there if they do. And then have they done business before? And this could mean that they have either had their own business. It could be their own network marketing business. It could be their own yoga business. It could be their own storefront. It could also be that they are, you know, just have been in a leadership position to where they know a lot about business. So you would put the 1 there. And then at the end, it totals up how many of these qualities did they have. So Jane Doe has 5 of the qualities. If you look up here, it says assign 1 point to each characteristic and then sample those scoring a 5, 6, or a 7. Use the memory jogger to expand your list. Use the sampling script and flowchart, which we're going to go over here. And the goal is to have 35 plus people invited to your launch week events to achieve elite. So this is, you know, just kind of if your goal is to move through the program as it's structured. that's what they want you to do. So then you have this list of 100 people. The tracking the qualities helps you figure out who to start with first. Because obviously initiating conversation about oils with 100 people at one time is not going to happen. So it helps you to maybe narrow it down to the ones that are the most likely to be receptive and ready to you know, take you up on your offer to start, you know, learning about oils and maybe even do the business with you. So then after that, you have these marks down here that are just kind of common steps that are recommended. So you want to give them a sample first and you can check the box so that you can remember if you've done it, right? A 2-day follow-up, invited to a class or one-on-one, reminder call 48 hours before event, reminder text 2 hours before event, and then enrolled, wellness consult, LRP, continuing ed, and then a business overview. So some people are never going to make it through all of these, but you can keep it tracked in one place. Simple, right? It's not real complicated. And then of course, this is a good part too about the document is you can add notes as much as you want. You could literally track every bit of conversation that you ever have with this person in this one spreadsheet if you wanted to. And you would just, you know, put the notes on, you know, the rest of the page, I guess. But this is a great document. I'm really proud of it. And if you wanted to add steps, I'll show you how to do that. You would just come to, like, let's say that you want to send a 15-minute reminder before an event, because I know a lot of people do that. You would just click on the one where you want it. So it was reminder text 2 hours before event. Okay, so that would be after. So you click on it and then insert one to the right, and it'll just add a column right there. And then you can name it whatever you want and stuff like that. And if you want to undo it, you just come over here and hit the undo button, and it puts it right back like it was. Does everybody kind of understand how that is? You have any questions? Awesome. This is one of my favorite documents that you know, I think it's a very helpful resource. And you know, if I haven't shown it to you before, I'm sorry. And I know I haven't shown it on the recording, so I'm glad that I'm adding that to it now. Okay, so everybody knows where to find that on the team app. I'm gonna close it out. You don't need this open. Okay, so back to this. So then, yeah, so the second daily mentor call is making your names list. And then you move right into, well, the third one is ranking it. So you see how it breaks it up into chunks. So you just have the one task. And the daily mentor calls doesn't move forward until you tell it you're ready to. Okay, let's see. So on this book, it looks different than in the book I have. So let me see. On mine, it's page 7. So it is, yeah, okay, so it's daily mentor call number 5. This is the part where you actually start reaching out to your people. And they give you some really great scripts. Like this one says, for product approach, if you already know their ailment, whereas this one down here is a product approach if you don't know their ailment. And then the next section are about the business approach. So you have the regular business approach, and then the business approach for people that you haven't talked to in a while. Like, how many of y'all, probably everybody on your list fits into one of these categories. And if they don't fit into one of those 4, then you have a tip for people who won't respond. And it's all, you know, a little, you know, it feels a little weird when you're reading it. Like, I'll read the first one and you'll see it's like, you know, it takes a lot of practice. And so I will give you the solution to how to move forward through that and how we can work together in practice. So it says the product approach if you already know their ailment. So, you know, a tip one, I don't see where it is on here, but I know it talks about it. This must be on the phone or in person. It does not work well if you just do it through text. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk on the phone, they're afraid of the phone, but the reality is nothing will replace your voice and your face communicating to someone. That's just the way it is. And so right now, meeting face-to-face is more difficult, obviously. So at the very least, calling and leaving a voicemail or something where they can hear you is going to be more effective. And then on the iPhone, they even have a little thing where you can record your voice and send it as a text message as a recording. And same thing on Facebook Messenger. All of those are going to be more effective than texting. So, you know, this isn't just like super, super easy. You do have to try. But okay, I'm going to read it. It says, I've been thinking about you lately. I have fallen in love with essential oils, and I've had some pretty amazing experiences with essential oils. And it says, talk about a simple but powerful personal experience with your oils that you could share or someone else's experience. And then it says, I thought about you. If you know their health challenges or family's health challenges, I would love to give you a free sample of essential oils for you to try. They are safer, cheaper, and often more effective than medication. I think you will have a great experience like I have. Are you going to be around tomorrow for me to drop it off or give it to you? Okay, so you can tell me reading through that that's not how it would naturally be. That sounded rushed and jumbled together. It's not like a conversation. So with that being said, it's kind of obvious that you wouldn't just be like, hey, I've been thinking about you, falling in love with essential oils, and da, 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 da. Like, obviously you wouldn't do it like that. So I'll give you what I've been practicing, and it still feels really awkward, but when I'm in conversation with somebody, it's not so awkward. So here we go. Y'all, this is super uncomfortable, cheesy, I know, but I'm gonna do it. So I'm calling you up, hey, Becky, it's Brittany. And, you know, Becky's, hey, how are you? And I would say, I'm great. I've been thinking about you, and I have been wanting to tell you about something really cool. You got a minute where I can tell you about this? She would respond like, sure, what you got? What's up? How you doing? You know, something like that. And I'd be like, well, so you know, I've fallen in love with essential oils, and I've been using them for a few years, and I've had some really amazing experiences. And one in particular made me think about you. So I'm calling you up to see if I could tell you about it. Of course, more than likely she's going to go, sure, what you got? And so the one that comes to mind is with my hair. So I live in the South. It's really humid. It's been raining a lot lately because we've had this hurricane stuff going on, or tropical depression, and my hair is curly, so it wants to go crazy. So I've tried really implementing our hair care system. It's a 4-part system. It's got shampoo, conditioner, a hair serum, and then a light, healthy, I think it's called Healthy Hold Glaze. That's a real light, kind of like almost like a gel. And what I've noticed with this is that my hair is more manageable, but it's still low on the toxins and really healthy, like actually nutritious for my hair. And I know you have curly hair, and you don't live in a humid environment, but you still probably struggle with making sure that your hair doesn't act crazy and get frizzy. So I was wondering if you might like to try a sample of it. Of course, who wouldn't say yes to that, right? Say, okay, well, cool. Can I come drop it off tomorrow for you? Sure. So you see how it's like part of the conversation, and it's not like you're just like spewing stuff at them, which is why it doesn't work as a text message, because it's hard to, you know, really get yourself across in a text message, and you're just going to end up stringing it all together instead of it being more like a conversation. So it just works better. So with that being said, there are y'all know Laura Ricci. She invited me on her Facebook group to an event that she had held last week on Zoom like this, where it was basically the whole purpose of it was practicing these scripts. And I signed up for it, even though I knew it was going to be awkward. I figured, what do I have to lose? I mean, if I'm going to get together and practice with a group of people, at least they're trying to do it with me. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm calling up my grandma and saying, hey, can I practice this on you? And she doesn't know what I'm talking about and have any interest in really listening to it. So back and forthing with somebody and listening to how they do it, and then doing it yourself, and then listening how you do it, you both benefit from that. And so what we did was we kept the Zoom going, and then we muted ourselves and everything, and then got on the phone with, like, we picked one person in the group, got on the phone, and then did the scripts for about 5 minutes, and then hung up, and then got back on the Zoom call, and then rotated, you know, took turns talking to different people, doing different scripts, and it worked out really well. Like I feel more comfortable than I did a week ago. So, you know, and then you get all those icky, jittery, uncomfortable moments out before you're actually on the phone with somebody that you want to make a purchase. So you kind of work through that before that. Okay, so the only other thing I really wanted to point out here, which is kind of a next step, well, before that, the tips for people who won't respond, you can text something like, I have great news, please call me. And, you know, if they like you, they're gonna call you because they wanna know what it is. And you can tell them, just like the story I told you about my hair that made me think about a friend of mine that has curly hair. That's it. Like, I have great news. I have something that's probably gonna change your hair life. Call me. You know, it's just how you have to do it, because doing it through text is just like not effective. And then they even give you an email script that you can send. And social media, like if you're messaging on Messenger, you can send something. Any of these will work, and you just kind of, it's an example, but you can work with them. Okay, and then where's the next one? Oh yeah, okay, so the next one is call number 8 that I want to point out. And this book is packed with information. Don't think that because I'm skipping it means that you shouldn't read it, but I just really want to talk about those scripts and stuff like that. So this is instructions for delivering the sample and how you communicate the expectations of what it means that you're giving them a sample. Because you don't want to just give away your oils for free, and you don't want to not know how to follow up. You don't want them to not know that you're gonna follow up with them. So you set all that up in the beginning, and then it just goes a lot smoother. And this is a process that I have been working through for years, and I still don't have it perfected, but I'm a lot better at it. I don't have it happen as much where I call people and they've forgotten about it and it's just floating around in the bottom of their purse. It still happens because people, you know, forget, but it doesn't happen nearly as much. Whereas in the beginning, it happened all the time. Okay, so let's see. Here is the script for setting expectations. And this is something that I have a lot of practice to do on because it still doesn't feel quite natural for me. So I'll just read it. It says, essential oils are similar to medication in this way. When you have an ailment and you go to the doctor and receive a prescription, and if you use it and it doesn't work, you usually don't say to yourself, I'm never going to try medication again because it's all useless. What you think instead is, this medication didn't work well for my body, so I need to go back to the doctor and ask him for something different. We have been programmed this way. We understand that medications affect people differently. Essential oils are similar in the fact that each oil is not going to have the same exact effect on every single person. So if you use an oil and don't get the results you're looking for, it's okay. We can try something else. If you're patient enough with essential oils like you are with medication, we will find something that is safer, cheaper, and more effective for you. And then it says, tell them how to use it and what to look for. So you've set the precedent up to kind of beforehand of like, hey, I'm not telling you that this is going to solve all your problems. I'm telling you that it works for most people and it's a good place to start. But if you're committed to finding the solution, I'm committed to helping you find the solution. You know, you've given them hope, but like realistic expectations. Okay, and then when you're actually telling them how to use the sample, here's a script. It says, here's what you're going to do. We are going to do. When you're getting into bed tonight, rub a few drops of this Serenity oil onto your temples. Also graze your pillow with your fingertips. As you lay down and take slow, deep breaths, you'll find a wonderful, calm feeling over you. You should feel more relaxed and you should sleep better. But remember, if you don't get the results you're hoping for, we can try something else. I'll call you in 2 days to see how it goes. Around when is the best time to call? Give them an essential oil quick reference guide and explain how to use it. So I have been thinking, I like, this little book is really, really great. And I think if I buy 100 of them, I can get them for $1 each. So if that's something that y'all are interested in, I can just drop 10 of them in the mail for you or whatever. But she recommends this one called the, well, it's not listed there, but it's called the A to Z Guide, and they're also $1, but they're nowhere near as comprehensive as this one. This one is the best. It's got every single oil in it. You can see it. It tells you like the basics about the oil as well as a little bit about how to use it. And there's also an ailments section in here. Where is it? Yeah. So there's, no, that's not right. There it is, one page ahead. So like you would look up, you know, they could look up the ailment. So this is, Janet's not on here, but she would tell you she has a customer, a good friend of hers who loves this book. She's like, I'm in the doctor's office sitting there waiting on my appointment, and I'm learning about essential oils. Great. I think it's awesome. And I mean, I've had this since Janice. So that's years and years, and I still use it. It's a great little reference book.
Yeah, I think they have an updated one. It's a different picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one's super old. Like, yeah. It probably doesn't have any of the new oils in it or anything, but I still use it. But anyway, hopefully you guys can see where this is going and how beneficial, hey Mel, how beneficial it is to be able to have, you know, a flow of what to say. It's great because you don't have to figure it out for yourself, but you still have to practice it so that it feels natural. And so my question is if you guys would be interested in practicing scripts together like we did the other day with Laura, because she is going to be continuing forward doing the same thing with this guidebook, because this book's got, you know, 60 something pages. We're only on page 9. So I think having a group to practice with is I can't even tell you how valuable.
I'm willing to do it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me 3.
Oh, hey, Janet, look at you with your background. She's in Hawaii. That's awesome. Well, so the next question then, I guess, is would it be smart for us to just do that at the same time as this, or do y'all want to continue doing trainings and then do the scripting practice separate?
Do it at the same time as this is my recommendation.
What about y'all? Anybody else got a vote? Crickets?
Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
Okay. Well, for now, what I'll do is just invite you guys until we figure out the approach we need to take. Is Laura's is open to anybody. If anybody wants to just join in. We've only done one, and we just did. I just showed y'all the scripts that we went over. So if you just want to practice those with me or with each other, the next one that she's hosting is on Sunday. I think it's maybe 2 o'clock, I think is what she said. But I'd have to look. If you want to be invited to that, just let me know. Otherwise, you know, we'll try to do something with us, our group. But yeah. This is something that will help you infinitely if you just practice it. So I think that's as much as a brain can hold right now, but we'll remember next time that we are at call number 9. And this is basically what you do after they have the sample and 2 days have passed. That would be the next one. Okay.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, that's where it's like, okay, I figured out how to get samples.
Yeah.
Now what? But
yeah.
The key there is setting the expectation up so that they know what to expect. And you know, we'll get into that. So yeah. Anybody got any other things that they need to mention or bring up? Questions, concerns? Mm-hmm. Wow, y'all are quiet today.
Taking it all in. That's all. Just taking it all in.
One more thing, actually, that I did want to show you guys. Let's see. But if y'all have any questions, just pipe up and say it while I'm looking this up. So I discovered something that I'm really, really excited about. Where did it go? Yeah. So y'all know we have these continuing education classes that we will get to in the Daily Mentor Calls program. I found scripts, like literally word for word scripts for each of the classes. It's so exciting. Let's see who's chatting in. Please send the information over. Okay, cool. I will do that. Minimize that. But yeah, this is a script. Let's see how many pages is it. Is it 10, 12, 14 pages. So if you were not sure what to say for a class, here it is. Everything you need to know. I've watched a lot of videos of other people teaching classes. I've never had a word for word script. What's good about this is that if you have something that you want to touch on, there's probably something in here that's going to give you the words. But the problem with having a script like this is if you are like me and you want to get it perfect, if you don't get it perfect, you're going to beat yourself up. And that's not what this is for. You can't stand up there in front of a group of people or even on a webinar and read this word for word, because it's not going to be very effective. And it doesn't sound very natural, and it's going to take longer than it should because you're reading it instead of just speaking, right? So what this is a good, like the other, I'm so confused with this mouse. I always wants to go the opposite direction. What's good about this is that you can practice it and highlight it and write on it and make notes and then type up your own version and all of that kind of stuff if you wanted to. It's just kind of a guide, right? But it's everything you need. It's great. Let's see. So we have even, like, for example, I don't feel super confident talking about our nutrition and supplement section. But I don't have to, because I could probably learn everything I need to share right here reading this document. So we've got, like, the first section is just kind of probably more of an introduction for the class. And it just addresses everything. And she even tells you how long that section should take, give or take. But I think that these are scripts from a wellness advocate that taught a class and recorded it and then went back and typed up everything. I think he said it was like 100 and something pages total. So yeah, not really a great place to start if you're trying to learn all of this, but it is great that we have it when we're ready for it. And I've put it on this Google Drive for now, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I just got these a couple days ago. The next thing is to put them on the TBAC. So it'll be there very soon. I just got to figure out how to organize it and make it where it's only one link to all of them rather than 8 different links. So there are PowerPoints that go with each of these as well.
And you were talking about, Brittany, the supplements and stuff. I was listening to the Empowered Success yesterday, and one of the episodes was talking about the lifestyle overview and how important it is. It's like a must, he said. It's a must to not just kind of glaze over that section. So, you just mentioned that, yes, I think it's important for us to really focus on getting a little bit more information.
Yeah.
To talk about it when we're doing that.
Have you ever heard the wellness consult referred to as the second enrollment?
Yes, that's what they were talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hadn't before, but it does really make a lot of sense.
It really does, because, it's one thing for somebody to be like, oh, I like essential oils and I'd like to have some. That's great, because everybody should have essential oils at their beck and call. Okay, it looks like Patrice and Tamara both had to go. Hey, girls, I think we missed them, but bye. Yeah, but it's a whole other thing to really get into the deep understanding of what it is that they want to work on and helping them connect them to those things, whether it be learning about how to use the reference guide, learning that the reference guides exist, or learning about the doTERRA website and the ebooks and the webinars and all the information that we have. If you can sit down with them in that appointment, that's your chance to actually make sure that they get all of that information. And then, of course, the opportunity for you to extract information from them to find out what it is that you can do for them, whether it be, you know, just telling your own experiences when they say, oh yeah, well, I need to work on this issue. If you have a personal experience or someone you know's personal experience that you can share with them, you can't put a value on that. Like that, not only does it build relationship, it helps you to do your job better so that you can connect them to the oils so that they can turn around and buy them and you can get paid. So yeah, the wellness consult is absolutely important. Some people just don't understand what the point of it is. And what Dr. Laura Ritchie says, and this is like really hard and icky and uncomfortable for me right now, but it will change because I'm determined to change it, is get really direct with people and say, are you serious about working on your health goals? How serious are you? Because if they're just kind of, you know, wanting to dabble with essential oils, that's okay. But you need to know that so that you can serve them in that way, rather than assuming that they're just a dabbler or assuming that they want to, you know, tackle major health issues. You know, you don't know until you ask. And so that's the most direct way that I've ever seen anybody do it. And it's uncomfortable, but when you get that response of, oh my God, yes, I'm very serious about it, you are then more confident continuing forward with your enthusiasm and your intentions. Whereas if they're like, well, I mean, I don't really have any health issues, I just kind of want to like have my house smell good, then you also know how to serve them in that way. But you can't know unless you ask. So. And then, of course, once you do have that clarity, then you're like, oh, well, this is perfect. Then the next step is the wellness consult. That's the next step. One of my friends, I used the words standard operating procedure. And she was like, oh, I like that. She's a military background. So she's like, yeah, that works. So I'm like, okay. So now she says, okay, so the standard operating procedure here after your enrollment is to set up the wellness consult. And they go, okay. Sounds good. Like that, if you're telling me that's the next step, then let's do it. So anyway.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't have any questions, I'm going to stop this recording and then we can just kind of hang out and chat if there's any other stuff that comes up. All good?